Yeah, most definitely got to give a big shout out to Chief Blackrock. If you need any kind of digital work, holla at the brother. First off, how y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
I say we have an amazing. What's that?
I was just saying, I'm doing fantastic. I'm great. Yes.
Tonight we have a topic called hedonism, the ritual of pleasure. That sounds like a real edgy topic. What are we talking about tonight?
Pleasure, yeah. Well, the responsibility of the pleasure.
Ooh. I say. Would you like to go first, Goddess Lavina?
You guys, excuse me. I do have a cough drop, and well, there is definitely nothing wrong with some pleasure, whether it's a little or a lot. But you have to have some boundaries with that pleasure, with who you're doing it with. And also, sometimes when you're doing it can affect, cause a certain effect. If you follow, the rhythm of the moon, and even sometimes following the sun, because all this energy is always available to us. And if you're with a partner who is in agreement with you, because it's really ideal. If you're single, you can still tap in and bring the effect that you want. But it is really excellent if you partnered up, because two going to take more to flight. It's going to bring it your manifestation. It's a little bit quicker. So you want to definitely be in agreement, and the man is in agreement, because if you're manifesting, if you're performing this sexual act for your house and he wants a business, it's going to take a little bit longer because you kind of off course. And if you're in agreement and you're that power couple, get the first things first. It's really important. Maybe depending on where you live at, focus on him getting the business first, and then bring it forth your house. But it has to, not it has to be, but it would be really great if we would use it for greater things than that, like starting a school for our children, so we can be the ones initiating their growth in the direction that they're going to go in. It's not always about just houses and cars and money. Well, it's always about money, because you got to pay for things, and you need to pay the employees that are going to come work at the school. So we got to think larger than just our house. We got to get that community thing going on, and then get that thing going global, because you can definitely always have more than one school in one state. So it's always good to do what Arisha Stone is doing by introducing us to each other, so we can link up. I'll find out, well, what gifts do you have? Or, what do you bring to the table? And things of that nature, because we definitely, everybody that's involved, because it starts right there in the center and it vibrates out. We want people that were vibrating on the same frequency, so we can all get in agreement and bring forth these things that we really need, especially at this time in our lives. Because this is amazing to me that all of this information has come forward, and we really had the opportunity to make it about us. I say Black people. Some people might not agree with me saying Black people, indigenous people, Indian people, whatever. The thing is, we're people. We all have the same goal, and the goal is to succeed. The goal is to educate ourselves, educate our children, and bring wealth to our communities, to our homes and lands and things of that nature, because the switch has occurred, whether people want to believe it or not. I know it looks like they're winning, but the deal is for us to be here and to have this knowledge and this wisdom and to be able to utilize it, it's on and popping. So, is it is hedonism pleasure? Definitely, yes. Is it a ritual? Yes, it can be that used for that also. Is it sex magic? Come on, let's get it popping. Whatever you want to call it, it's the essence of divine nature, the mother, the great mother, the great father, and we have that essence in us to manifest things in the earth.
Sure. We have another guest just came in. Let me, my apologies. Let me go around the room as well, and we'll start with the goddess Nffera. Nffera. Goddess, how you doing?
I'm peaceful. How's everyone?
Great, thank you.
I'm glad to be here, you all.
And where you looking at right now?
Hmm?
Where are you looking at right now?
You said, where am I at right now?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm in Utah.
Oh, the traveling woman, I like that.
I am in Utah with these beautiful mountains. Oh my goodness. It is so beautiful. I'm talking about, I don't care what time of the day it is for these mountains, they still beautiful.
I know that's right.
What part of Utah are you in?
I'm 30 minutes from Salt Lake. I'm in Tauli, Utah. And it's a really small town full of beautiful people. We're having some interesting weather at nighttime. It get pretty cold, but I love it. It's an absolute complete change. It's almost like a stillness in the air.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful there.
It is. It is.
And I am sick. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic. I want to move so that I can give myself a little bit more light so that you guys could see me.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm happy to be here talking about the topic of hedonism, and I'm broadcasting from Cali, California.
That's what's up.
I love California. Oh my God, I love California.
You're gonna have to come to the layer. Come to the layer.
I would love to.
Tonight, and Goddess Lavina, before I go, where are you from again?
I am from the tri-state area, Delaware.
I see. Well, tonight we have a wonderful conversation about hedonism, the ritual of pleasure, ritual of seduction, ritual and seduction. And we have a couple different guests that might be coming on tonight, but right now we have you three, and you three are very intelligent, powerful goddesses that know what y'all been talking about. Each one of you have your own channels, and I love all your channels. I am Seg and Goddess Lavina. Y'all have already done something together. Goddess Nffera, we just had a live recently together, so I'm glad to have you back on.
Absolutely pleasure to be here.
Yes, and I love what you said, Goddess Lavina, about everything is based on your intentions when you're talking about hedonism. I love what you said, but you also said something else when you said it should also be timed by the sun and the moon, because I don't think people really understand when they be talking about sex magic. I think they just talking about some let's just go do it, and that's the sex magic. I think it goes way deeper than that. And I wanted the goddess perspective on it, because at the end of the day, nothing's more important than what y'all said, because at the end of the day, the magic comes through your orgasm. So, goddess, I am saying, you wanna touch on that topic?
Sure. First, I would like to just kind of clarify a little bit that hedonism is a seeking of pleasure, but it has changed in a lot of different cultures. Hedonism is like, because we're talking about, in this instance, is sexual pleasure, but depending on what a person finds pleasure, right, then that becomes the hedonism. So we are all hedonistic at some level, because we are all seeking pleasure. It is the matter of balance, and it is a matter of, as Lavinia was saying, Lavina, what she was saying in regards to everything has to be in order. And so in a state of how it used to be, I think it was Drake that coined YOLO, you only live once, right? So that sense of hedonism is about party and pleasure, no matter what. Just be in the moment, no consequences. It don't matter. And so when it comes to using your sexual energy, now, if you want to play Russian roulette, you are welcome to do so. Most people are doing it right now. But when it comes to the practice of pleasure and seeking pleasure as a tool and as a mean to actualize things in your life, there is absolutely 100% a formula that you must practice, because it's not a game. Like, you can't, if you're not aligned with what it is that you're asking for, and you are bringing on certain types of energy into your pleasure play, remember that you are creating sexual energy. That is the highest force of energy. That creates humans, right? It creates everything. It all starts from there. That sacral chakra and your mind and that vision. Look, and you don't need any other being to create. You do it all within yourself. Mind you, when you start bringing other beings into the equation, you have to think about what it is that you're bringing. And this is why way back in the day, they had these hedonism societies that they already knew what it was about. And so only certain people were allowed to participate in these types of societies because they had an agenda, and whatever there was, that's what they were creating. But there was a lot of those secret societies doing pleasure-seeking sexual hedonism. And so I yield.
No, man, what you just said was amazing, because all ancient societies, we say several, but it was all ancient societies. When we talk about the gods of stone, I always reference the Olmec, but that's just one aspect of it. When you're looking at the ancient Hindu temples all through India and places like that, you see them doing these. I think I put it the picture that you see all these elaborate. They're looking at it like art. They're looking at it like the guy that said they're very intentional with it. Everybody has, when they go into it, they know exactly that they're all thinking about the same thing. Because if y'all think about the same thing when the woman orgasms, and she's thinking about that when she orgasms to make a wish, that's when it manifests.
Exactly.
So most definitely. But this says ritual and seduction, and this is West African. So this is all over the world. This isn't just something people are making up. They'll make it sound like it's something more pseudoscience, I believe. But at the same time, it's something that's been around since the beginning of time. We're looking at Anana, when you're looking at all these ancient deities, when you're looking at the Oshuns, when you're looking at the Yamosas, they're all sexual energy entities. And those are the good ones. You also have the ones that are on the bad side, when you have the Liliths and things of that nature. What's that, goddess?
Sexual Secrets.
Mm.
The Alchemy of Ecstasy by Nick Douglas and Penny Slinger. This book is going to give you the information. Anybody that is into any kind of sex practice, my recommendation is first, get yourself right? Clear that energy, focus, right? Get information. Now I will say this. Those that are here for this and have practiced this lifetimes after lifetimes do not need a book. This book has been in my family for over 30 years. I didn't even know. My sister got this book way back in the day. And I used to just look at the pictures because, look, we can't do this, huh? Can we do that here? I don't know. Maybe we can. I don't want to get blocked. But it's basically that it teaches you about the culture of the sexual energy and sexual ecstasy and the power of it. But this book was a confirmation to the energy, to the information that I was receiving, right? And so I ain't gonna lie to you and tell you that I've read this book cover to cover, but I have opened it up and studied some things and been like, whoa, this information came through me through the act of sexual intercourse, because during this time you are opening portals, and these portals that are being opened are allowing for energies to come through. And so what energies are going to come through are based according to what's in your subconscious thought. So if you're not, if you're thinking on some bullshit, you know what I'm saying, you're going to probably invite some demons all up in your shit. You know what I'm saying? And so these are things that ancient societies, they studied on this. They knew this information was passed down by people who were getting it organically, because anybody could read a book and learn, right? But unless you are having an actual practice of what this sexual energy is in you and how it works in you, then it makes sense to use the book as a reference. So please know that I'm showing this to you because it's going to be a great reference. But in the time that we're in right now, you are the book. This is inside of you. So that's just going to be a confirmation to things that you know. But don't play around with this energy. We've been doing that for long enough. And look at the world right now. And yes, the world is like it is because everybody has fucked over their sexual energy. And I yield.
And the deal is, can I add to that I like how she said that the book is a reference, because the sexual energy and the sexual acts are according to who you are. What works for her is not going to work for me. So that's why it's important to know who you are, and to, like she said, have that connection with nature, with the great mother, father, so you can get the download for yourself, because that's how I got it. And the funny thing is, when I was getting information about it, I was like, what in the world? Because I hadn't at this point even started studying the Medu Netter or things of that nature. I just had really went to another level in my sexual practice, because when I was younger, I was real rigid from being exposed to porn too early, from eventually being raped. So I was really rigid for a long time. So when I started enjoying sex, I was like, yo, I didn't even know it could be like this. And I hope that every woman everywhere is able to have the pleasure to experience an orgasm, because when I tell you, I can't even put it into words the way it feels, and don't go into sex thinking, oh, I need this man to do this. If you participate in a certain way, he's going to do what you want him to do, because like I said, it starts in the mind. So when you head into that with that intention of how it's going to feel and what it's going to be like, when you start moving, he's going to enter your flow. And it's going to be on
something different. Totally. Absolutely. I wanted to add another reference book, if I may. Beverly Pascal's Sex Magic is a very good read, and it talks about some of the specifics that we're making mention of. I remember, and like the sister said, I haven't read the whole book, but I was interacting with someone who had, and oh boy, that's a really good reference. The book Sex Magic by Beverly Pascal. Now, one of the things that he talked about was when two people reach an orgasm together, if they're working towards a common goal, they call it out. Like say, for example, two people, they're making love or something like that. They get into it, and when they climax, they call out specifically what it is they want to manifest. So he talks about manifestations when they're at the peak, and through the orgasm, calling out what it is specifically what you would like to manifest. Like, so say, for example, you want to become millionaires. You say, oh my God, I'm a millionaire. As you are at the peak of the orgasm, you say it, and then you're looking at some really interesting things going to be, that's going to start happening. But like sister said, you have to definitely be in tune. Like it has to, you cannot just do this with anybody, because some people have perversions that will not permit you to be able to have an ascension or evolution type experience, because whatever that person is dealing with, they call into their reality with you, and you guys got that magic going on. And if they don't have the best intentions, that could be something too. So you really have to work at becoming well, if you're with someone, you have to be on one accord.
Yes, and
when you are manifesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I totally agree. Yes.
Man, I love it. When we talk about, are you guys familiar with? Are you ladies familiar with Shiva and Shakti?
Oh yes.
And a Set and a Sar. Like everything in our culture is based on not just sex per se. When we say hedonism, we automatically went to sex magic. But hedonism means the pursuit of pleasure. That means dancing. That means music. That means massages. That's all these different things, because there's an energy that comes with it. Way before the sex even gets there. I think like the guy that said, we started messing up because we started skipping a lot of the steps and went straight to the sex with no attraction. When like the attraction, that energy attraction, or that want, you can feel that build up before you even get to the sex room and the sex aspect of it. And I like what you was talking about, Goddess, when you said you got to talk her through. When I'm supposed to be the talking, you're supposed to be the manifesting. The walkie-talkie is you're repeating what I'm saying to you. You're repeating this in your mind. You're not saying it out loud. I'm supposed to talk you through it. And then you're saying in your mind as you orgasm, as you explode or whatever. And that's what they call the cosmic drum aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, but the one of the main ingredients for that so-called sex magic is attraction and it's love, or things that we call love. But because everything is so watered down now and it's so overly sexualized and everything's so over the top, the guy that said earlier that there used to be an order to it. They used to do it on certain moons. They used to do it on certain suns. They wouldn't have sex at all until it was time on this full moon or this new moon, or in the sun, when the sun is like if you guys are outside and the sun is hitting your skin, and y'all, because like you said, the sun is information. So it's the highest information to be outside up under the sun and absorbing that energy while y'all make love at the same time. So, does anybody want to touch on that a little bit?
Well, I want to say that when you were talking about you have to, it's more than just getting right to the sex. There is a buildup of that energy by communication, by simple touch, by smiling at one another, by leaving him little notes or calling him during the day and whispering something naughty in his ear. You know what I mean? It's not just, oh, let's get it and bang, bang, bang. No, no. It's about preparing a meal. You can prepare the meal together. You can go shopping together. There's so many different things to do that leads up to extremely great sex. So and saying just great sex is that's watering it down, because it's better than even great.
The cosmic drum.
Okay, the cosmic drum. That's okay. Yeah, because it builds and then it climaxes. So yeah, the cosmic drum. I like that.
Somebody had an amazing statement. They said, having a study on your partner is key. Knowing the sign of your partner being in alignment with the zodiac sign, ensuring the energies are balanced. It's important. The yin and the yang equally yoked. I say.
Exactly. And that's why Go ahead, sis.
No, go ahead, sister. I can wait. I was just going to say, brother, when you brought this conversation to my attention, when you said, sister, would you be interested in, we had this conversation. I was like, yeah, I haven't heard that term in so long. It was like, oh my goodness, you kind of tapped into a nostalgic world of like, oh wow, wait a minute, I used to hear about that all the time when I was younger, but it was always from the spiritual aspect of my early background is definitely Christianity. Yeah, and so you would think that everybody, hedonism was just, all these people having like things like menage a trois and stuff like that, and not, just orgies and things of that nature. But I was looking at one other thing, and it was just talking about, I love the duality of being able to look at things. And so I was like, hedonism can be you wanting to overindulge in things like going to the spa, or just sitting around the house and indulging in something that just makes you happy. And so I would have to add that I have noticed that we are always seeking pleasure. And so even though it's a good thing, what I've learned from Buddhist tradition and, just tradition coming along and growing up, is that in conclusion, us seeking happiness is the ultimate goal, just looking for ways to balance out the way the world is putting, you get so stressed out from, being, just being, from time to time. And everybody is on a different journey right now. So, like, it's like we all are on some level of hedonism because we're seeking peace and pleasure from all the pain and the BS that's happening from day to day, moment to moment, or through different experiences. So I looked up some different things, and I could say that, yes, I think I do on some level engage with this level of activity, hedonism, because I'm always seeking peace in my mind, just always looking for ways to overcome the different experiences. How can I observe the different things that I'm experiencing and not be so moved in a bad way, but in a good way, to find that pleasure, find the peace. I'm seeking just the calm, I need to, just looking for that happiness, if you will.
I say it starts. Oh, sorry to cut you off.
No,
but I got
you're fine. Go ahead.
But it starts with healing, and with healing, because you actually want more than just happiness. Happiness is for seconds. It's for that moment. You want to enjoy. When we enjoy something, and when we go, and things, you going through life and you just enjoying your life. You enjoying being home by yourself. You might be enjoying reading a book. You enjoy. So enjoyment, it just flows. And what happens is when you do hit a little bump in the road, you're able to say, okay, let me calm down. Let me maybe do some meditation, do some breathing, burn some candles, or just sit and be still to hear divine's voice.
Yes.
And what happens is you're sitting and waiting. Divine will give you a thought of something you just enjoyed, something you might have enjoyed 5 years ago, something that you plan to enjoy, to help you get through those moments. Just like I know when I remember when my brother transitioned, and the one thing that got me through was he could talk his way out of a paper bag, and that's the thought I had when they was telling me how he died. And I said, and when my sister said it was the shot to the jugular that killed him, I said, that's because that man knew if my brother got to talking, it was a wrap. He would still be here. You understand what I'm saying? But that gave me joy because I know when Al started talking, he talked a lot of sugar, honey, iced tea. He wasn't going down like, he wasn't going to be taken out that easy or whatever. But it just moved me to a place of laughter versus me sitting around crying and moping. So healing is definitely important, no matter what the situation you've been through, or if you lost someone, even sexual healing. Like if you've been traumatized through an experience of rape, you know, and it doesn't matter uh, how, if it wasn't real violent or not, the fact that it happened, the fact that it stopped you in your tracks, and you're like, what the hell? And then, or you find yourself fighting, trying to get out. I didn't say yes to this. Stop it. You understand what I'm saying? That's traumatic, because I know it was traumatic for me. So it took me a long time to even allow Divine to deal with it. Because soon as it happened, soon as I got out of that apartment, I buried it. I didn't tell nobody. It was my little dirty secret.
And my condolences, goddess. My condolences. I I mean that. I do.
Thank you.
And also, you said a lot in there, and somebody had a comment, so I want to address a couple of different things. One, like you saw, I think Nffera said about the balance. And even in sex, when we look at slavery and all the different things they did to different people sexually, that was a ritual in reverse.
Exactly.
And you ever take, like, I really was focusing on the hedonistic aspect of it, but also the healing aspect of it. So this is important that you're bringing this up. Somebody also said something that I think we should address. They said the true daughter of darkness. They said, I have a guy that I love having sex with, yet I don't like him. And before I touch on that, does anybody else want? I am saying, do you wanna tangle with that one a little bit?
Sure, I'll take that one. There are your body's like a computer system, and other people's is like that too. A way that you can tell if a person is a match for you on that level of if it's a physical sexual match is by the kiss. If you kiss someone and that person ignites all of your energy centers, then it's a match for you. And it doesn't matter what that person does. When that match comes together, it is a powerful match. And it's something that if you're not aware of how to handle that kind of relationship, it can have you jacked up for life, or it can have you enlightened for life. And so there is definitely a reason why you have a connection like that, where it's so physically fulfilling, but you just don't, y'all are not on the same vibrational frequency on all levels. So that's not abnormal.
Can I add to what you're saying? For the sister that said she don't like him like that, the yoni communicates. It will clearly tell you somebody it don't like, because it's another brain box actually. It can tell you all the ins and outs of someone, especially if you are interacting with someone without like a condom or something like that. You take on other people's energy. What I have noticed is that when I'm in the middle of my own moments of interacting with my significant other, if he's had a rough week at work, for some reason, I'll wake up the next day and be grumpy and a little off. And I'm like, what the heck going on around? But it's, you are merging with someone and you are dealing with all of everything that they have. Your yoni, like I said, if you're unprotected, but even still the connection, but the protection is going to be very important, because you don't want the fluids left inside of you. Because if you don't like him, then your yoni is communicating with you and letting you know, like, he is not it, and you can love having sex with him, because there's nothing wrong with loving sex. But if he's not right for you, you're not going to like him like that at all.
And I think that it's time. I really do believe that it's time for the goddess said it earlier, and we blew past it, but I really do think it's time to take accountability, because we know that the pussy is the most powerful thing on this planet. It's the portal for all existence and everything else. And why do y'all throw it away so loosely? Women be like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to. I've heard the craziest things when it comes to sex. and we can use it as an excuse for so many different things, and we can use it for stupidity, and we can use it for everything else. The vagina has killed more people than the KKK, all sorts of things. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing we say is, I fuck him, but I don't like him. I don't think that you might be on the right page, because we were talking about hedonism, and that's connection between the mind, body, and soul. You see what I'm saying? So many people are just, like we said earlier, just having sex and just doing it. What connection are you doing if mentally you're not there? If mentally you don't like the person, there's a chance that, because y'all just easy at this point, you're only doing it because it's easy, right? He don't like you either. That's probably you're easy for him, he's easy for you. Now, what are you manifesting out of there? Besides, oops, we got a baby that we don't want, or oops, there's a bunch of things that we don't want, and the first thing they say is, oh, the men are bad out here, but you out here fucking somebody you don't even like. How weird. You know what? I'm sorry. But no, we use sex in the craziest ways and blame everything around us about the existence that's going on in the world, but we don't even know how to use the vagina or our penises. So when we're talking about hedonism, we're talking about the pursuit of pleasure, but at the same time, like I said, as above, so below, we talk about the mind, body, and the soul. You can't have hedonism if I can't touch your soul. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And people, like right now, the world and trick everybody out their spot, especially the black woman, because like I said, in all of our histories, whatever, it's always the woman that some kind of sexual energy. Only when the white man told y'all it was bad, all of a sudden it became bad. Meanwhile, while everybody talking about, oh, the orgies are bad and everything else, what are they doing in the White House? What does everybody do when they get money? What do all the pharaohs, what do all the religious people do? They don't be doing the exact same thing, so somebody's lying and using it how they want to use it, but don't want to really put it out there the way it's supposed to be used in communities and things of that nature. Hold on, let me go to somebody else. A relationship without balance and alignment is, I like that. Somebody said a relationship without balance and alignment is dead and non-existent in nature and law.
I have to say, though, that women in the beginning, we was not tricked out of that sexual pleasure. When things took a turn for the wrong, and seeing how even the Sibyls, because they have been ruling for, the women have been in rule for an extremely long time until they came in and they started raping the women. Some of them, so they wouldn't go through that, they killed themselves, or they just fell in line to give these people what they wanted, which was their divine energy, wisdom, and truth and knowledge of how to run the cosmos, how to bring the people into bondage. And we'll probably do another platform, I hope, and you ladies, I hope you guys can join that. We have to, at one point, come to the realization, come to the understanding that the power that we have been given, we eventually somewhere abused it. We overstepped. And that's how we ended up falling from the higher ship that we were in, the kingship, the Empress ship, and things of that nature. I don't use the word queen all the time because queen means whore. But it's not everybody. I don't care who you are and where you are, and especially if you are carbonated, melanated, black. We have a responsibility to own up to our own mess and to see where we jack up stuff and take responsibility for it. The young lady also, I want to add to that was saying she loves having sex with this guy, but she don't like it. That's because he triggers something in her, because he's not, like she was saying, he's not the person for you. And when you sit and you get in your space, when you by yourself, think about that. I'm laying with this dude, I don't even like him. Because in order to love someone, in order to be in love and involved and to open yourself up, You need to like that person. I'm not telling you sugar honey iced tea about me. I don't know you. I don't like you. And you want to touch me? No.
Ew. Somebody said, go ahead, guys.
There's something really important in regards to the situation. I think it's important that the young lady brought it up that she doesn't like him, but she can have sex with him because it's the mechanics of it. I'll say that's one. The other part is in these ancient civilizations, when you were talking about the sacred goddesses, going back to the energetic aspect of what this hedonism and the pleasure is, a lot of times it wasn't even in order for somebody to get to the point where they actually penetrated a sacred goddess. Oh, you had to be a divine king to do. You have to be already ordained to the point that it wouldn't be a waste of that woman's for you to enter that space, right? And in these times, you know, when it comes to liking, so a lot of times the goddess, it wasn't even about the energy of liking the individual. It was about the individual being able to meet all of the criteria necessary to make that action happen. But this is a whole nother level. That's a whole nother science. And so I will say this, that our kind, humanity, has been plagued through the sexual sacral chakra on purpose. If you look at movies and you look at the power of the melanated people together, they've done that for a reason. They've exploited it for a reason. So I first want to say thank you to the goddess who said about her feelings. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to explore that, because that's real. Yeah. And that happens in our society, because I'm going to keep it 100. There was a time in my life where I was discovering this energy, because see, here's what happens. When you are born into sexual trauma, that energy is very powerful. And it supersedes your mind and everything. And when you open that Pandora's box, it's a whole nother world. So there have been definitely times that I have discovered the energetic inconsistencies in me and another mate. And this is why I knew that when I connected to that one mate, that was this powerful energy, that no matter what I thought or what I believed, this energy made sense to the physical, to the all of it. It made sense. Manifesting like that, like that, like that, like that. And this is, I'm speaking from experience. I had been in a sexual relationship with this partner for 34 years. So it was practiced. It was practice put into action. Able to feel all of these things that we're talking about. The woman feeling and the woman knowing. And once you have entered her body and she has had that DNA, this is hilarious to me. How men are like, oh, I wonder how she knew that. I wonder. I just wanted to definitely point out that outside of the emotional aspect and our feelings of it, there is an actual science to this sacral energy and this sexual energy. And it absolutely does begin with the thought, but because of how this society has been, we immediately go to the physical aspect of what it is. And that lessens the power of what we're able to manifest, but it still manifests things nonetheless. And this is why our people have been oppressed, because it has been allowed. Once your lower chakras are damaged and you don't have any way to raise it up, then you exist there and you keep creating on that level. Because yes, when you create in a loveless relationship, in a relationship with anger and all kinds of issues, you are going to produce that. And trust when I tell you, I've had that experience as well. So when you create in a space where there is no love, you are going to produce that very thing. And this is why the disconnection from families and people begins to happen too. So this is a very important conversation for us to have. And I'm happy to be on here. Poetic Empress Lavina.
Well, wait a minute. I have to say something to the goddess. Please, I hope I wasn't too, because I know my energy can be like, but
No, I think everybody needs to be straight to the point, because when it comes to women,
I want her to be able to enjoy that in totality, not after you get what you want. Be tomorrow, get out. Your shoes been at the door. As a matter of fact, they outside. So, but we don't want her to have to keep going through that. She deserves a relationship where she's having that sex that she wants to have, and she's liking and loving this person, and they're in agreement, and they're manifesting the things they want to manifest in the earth for the good of herself, her family, her community, and that nature. So
I don't know. Like I say, the deserve and everything else, we all make conscious decisions. And I know when it comes to men, we don't get a chance to talk about it as much, because women, that's their go-to when they make a bad decision. I was sexually abused, right? Most young boys are sexually abused and never get a chance to talk about it because we can't use that as an excuse.
Let's talk about it.
But you see what I'm saying? Most black men have been sexually abused in their life and never get to talk about it and live it every day. And meanwhile, a lot of people get to look at the women and watch them. Oh, that's your excuse? You see what I'm saying?
All women are not like that, though. All women are not like that, because
I'm not saying all women. I'm just saying you got to get out.
I totally agree with you.
We talk about traumas, and me, I was hurt so bad. Now, me. Everybody's been hurt. You know, right? Everybody's been hurt.
See, that's because they don't know, Orisha, that the home is the temple, the sacred temple. When you come from outside, it is just so peaceful in your home. You understand? When he comes home, let me tell you, sometimes, depending on who your man is, he might not like to talk when he comes home. Give him that space. Don't be right in his face, all up, well, my dad, ... or this needs fixing, that needs fixing. Just let him relax. That's why you have that relationship with him, so you can learn him. And then, maybe have his favorite food, or just some food, something for him to eat. Also, sometimes massage his feet, run him a bath, run him a shower. If he doesn't like to take, I'm gonna let you go.
Rub my back.
I really want to come back to what you said. I kind of got away from the point that I wanted to make from earlier, but let me tell you something, brother. We are all actually experiencing some level of sexual trauma. Men choose not to talk about it, but they should.
But they've been
I'm not upset. That's or opposed. Hold on one second, sister. I just want to make this point real quick. Mm-hmm. I am not opposed to listening. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when you look at a lot of women and men, we come from a history where we were, I didn't say just women, but we were abused. Men were raped. Men were going through trauma. We got history of people having some level of this type of trauma happening consistently, and it's never addressed. And this is how we repeat cycles of different eras of the same type of trauma, because it's not addressed. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I was looking at the brother's comment. I know you were going to probably get to it. When we talk about the Orisha, and the brother said women who sell. So I don't know if you all know, if you know the Orisha, Oshun's opposite is the whore. That is whore. That type of energy. Everything has polarity. Oshun is that energy. Brother, if you are dealing with that type of energy, that may mean, I don't know if you're into the Orishas and different things of that nature, you may need to take an offering to Oshun and let her know you would prefer a Yemaya or, something other outside of that. But going through some of the things that I have been through, because I was a teenage mom, so I was exploring very early. What I noticed is that when I went through Sacred Woman with Queen of Four, the whole thing with the yoni steam and learning how to sit over a pot, learning how to smudge and cleanse that area, communicating with that area, saying, you know, I love myself, I respect myself. I'm not saying it's just for women, but for men too, because men have been abused. We talking about, and if we were to go into things like, in times of captivity, men were being actually raped through different things, and didn't nobody talk about it. That whole don't talk about it, don't talk about what's going on in this household, don't do that, don't do this. It all comes and stems from cycles of dealing with it consistently. It's small levels of not small levels, but different levels of molestation, sexual abuse, and not knowing how to find remedy. You know, I can remember being molested one time and nobody believed it. You know, they didn't believe it. And it was a trauma that, you know, it could have been talked about, but because the resources are not there, men don't feel safe. Some women don't feel safe. Some people have these experiences. Some people never correct the issue. And when you don't address the issue properly, it will show up in so many different ways that it becomes a problem. And the problem becomes generational. And then we start dealing with a lot of hatred, self-hatred. And then what people really, I mean, if we really, really want to get down to the grit of it, it's not about man or woman. It's really about what the individual is experiencing and allowing themselves to continue to experience. And if they don't know that they have to get some level of counseling, that's why people have interest in sexual proclivities, because they have different acts of, what's the word I'm looking for? Inaccurate actions that have happened. Like, I didn't allow my daughter to dance outside in public. I didn't want her shaking her little, you know, outside, because I didn't want anybody to look at her that way. And, you know, I would have conversations with my sons and tell them, you know, there are certain things that you got to know about, and you tell mom this, that, and the third. So when we talk about that like, that's a whole nother element or show, because we are dealing with cycles and years and years. And then I wanted to also say this one thing too. We have not healed on that level. And it has been going on for generations. And it is time to start addressing it. The brothers that have had that experience need to start teaming up in groups and talking about it, because I have a good friend that I was close to that told me about his mother's friend messing with him. And even though, you know, some other men will say, oh man, you know, that's a good experience. That wasn't a good experience for a lot of men. It was not. To be molested by an older woman or something of that nature, you know, or being raped, or, you know, it's so many different ways to approach this thing that I'm going to say, I don't do the man and woman thing, or, oh, men do this or women do that. I'm saying we have to start healing. And women know what that energy feels like on a lot of different levels. We have to allow our men to be able to, we have to be a safe space for them, and not allow ourselves to become judgmental if he says, hey, you know, I had an experience that I didn't like. I have not told anybody. And, you know, you can't be throwing it up in his face saying, well, you know, you know.
You can't tell women that nowadays, because nowadays, that's the name of the game, throw it in your face. Listen, die with it, take it to the grave, brothers. Take it to the grave with you, I'm just saying.
No, but that's when it comes back to the women. That's the problem.
I'm playing.
Okay. I know, but that's when it, like I said, it comes back to the woman needing healing, knowing who she is, and understanding that the power we have is for that also. It's also for us to speak into the atmosphere of the things, because I'm like, when I think about what they did to our brothers during slavery,
yes,
they would even sodomize or rape men in
Yes.
front of the family, would tear them apart with courses and do all kind of mess. So, putting that fear in the woman that she would protect her son, and so he wouldn't be strong like his dad. You understand? And a man that happens to that didn't get killed by it, how is he going to go back to her now and look at her? You understand? We don't even understand that on that level. So being as though we don't, that's what we do. We understand. I got this healing in me. Just come here. You understand? Just come here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's how we need it. Even if it's not our man, and you see a brother is hurting, don't try to swoop in to get him. Swoop in to help him. That's what we need to start doing, because everybody that you meet is not for laying down with.
That's right.
And I had to learn that hard.
Say that again. Can you say that again? Please say that.
Everybody we meet is not for us to lay down with and have sex. It's for us to be that brother and that sister. And I missed that opportunity because to another level, and what the relationship as a brother and a sister could have been. I'm like, we missed it. And, I said, I won't do that again. I'm going to listen and be obedient to what divine has me to do and walk in the purpose I have been called here for. You got to get past being attracted to somebody. It's not the all in all.
That part. The brother did have, I left that question up there for a minute. I left that question up there or a statement up there for a minute because I did want to address that. He said, Brother Risha, women who sell it and do this for a living always seem to take a liking to me and offer me sex, all the while charging tricks. I'm always attracted to these types. I don't think he said that as a problem. What I will say is, I'm sorry. We said we got to
finish your statement, and I'll say what I'm gonna say.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, learn how to utilize energy, because when they talk about Isha in the Bible, Jesus in the Bible, whether we want to believe it or not, the first person he hung around with was prostitutes. You see what I'm saying? The non-judgmental type. I don't even know when sex became a sin, because like I said, we go before the Bibles and everything else. The first thing they brought down here was jewelry, drugs, and prostitution, whatever words we want to call it. When we talk about people were trading, we don't want to have a conversation that what was traded for goods back in the day. Women were traded for goods back in the day. Children were sold for goods back in the day. We don't want to have the conversations with your religions. We blame the black man for everything. You don't blame your religion for nothing. Your religion sold you into sex slaves. Your religion sold you into childhood marriage. Whichever religion, pick them all. You see what I'm saying? Whether it be the Jews and the little boys, the Catholics and the little boys, the Muslims and the little girls, whichever one it is, we got to, when did sex or sexual energy become a sin? And I'll say this, it became when they broke our order and tried to impose their order on us, because our order, we had certain things. And one of y'all said something real powerful, and I'll pass it to you. Somebody said, we're not always supposed to have sex with them, we're supposed to heal them. I said hedonism. I never said nothing about sex. I said sensuality. And then some hedonism heals through pleasure, the ritual of pleasure, right? The ritual of bringing him back to his manhood, bringing him back to his godhood, or bringing her back to her. Either one. Wait, it was used as a medicine, a ritual act. Now we have a bunch of healers that don't heal. They don't want to heal nobody. It's a bunch of what are you if you're a healer that don't want to heal? And what is it for the men if you're a protector and nobody to protect? Well, that's what I meant when I said you got tricked out your spot. Go ahead, guys.
And that's what I was going to say about the young man. When he understands who he is, he's being pulled to those women because they need healing. He's a healer, and like you said, a protector. But he's not. He might not be in divine order with that yet. But when he starts lining up, he's gonna be like, "Oh my goodness!" That's why he could. For those women to keep coming to him, that's what that is. They need healing. And they see it on him, but he doesn't know it's on him. So he's just taking it as they want to have sex with him, or, it's supposed to be a relationship. It's not. The relationship is brother and sister. She need help. Yeah. You got what she need in you. The healing. You don't even got to touch her. Because now, honey, that energy it flows right out of you. Because I don't know if you like when you feel the vibration of a singing bowl, you don't have to touch it. You just put your hand there, you can feel the vibration, the energy flowing into you. Because one hand is for receiving and the other hand is for giving. So
Balance.
yes, he can lay hands. You only have to lay hands on just whatever over their head. Give them some knowledge and wisdom. Start studying, and things of that nature. And I'm tuning into this broadcast, So it's time, and I believe that this is divine because it's time. You got the divine Mari on here. You have this goddess over here who's clearly knows herself and her position. I'm on here, and brother here is giving up the tapes also. So it's a time for healing for us. Let's get. So yeah, I'm glad you did bring about the pleasure.
It's really when we talk about women. Why don't the women dance for the men no more? You just said, it was one of you guys just said, I wouldn't even let my daughter go outside and dance because there's predators community that we don't check because we're not allowed to kill no more, right?
But I will dance for my man, though, brother.
No. That's what I was getting to. That's what I was just about to get to.
Yes.
When you have a community, I love going to band-bays. You go to the band-bays and you can see the people dance because they're dancing in front of their community, the ones that they know got good sense because these people have been filtered for the community. Just because they're in your neighborhood don't mean they're part of your community. Now, in your community, you dance. That's why we always went to the so-called club. We always were tribal. We was always nights. Besides, think about it. Every Friday, even in Islam, is Juma or party day. You see what I'm saying? We come together. We bring the energy, like you said, just being around each other's energy. So much so that Muslims be like, put the women in a whole nother section. Put the women in a whole nother room. But when it's our culture, we all around each other, feeling the energy of each other.
Yes.
That's what we just said. Shiva and Shango. They're dancing, beating you see the drummers around the fire. That was energy. Singing was the energy. They took that from us. They took the drum. They took the music. All the vibrations we talking about. They took that from us.
One thing we're gonna have to stop saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Because they ain't took nothing.
That's right.
We stopped using it.
I say.
I got a drum right here. You want to see it?
I believe you.
But you know what, though, sister? That is the case in a lot because we are missing culture. We don't have. We had to create our own as a result of this.
It's always been there, sis.
I know.
Because I'm going to tell you. You know where I would go when I went to the club? Because I stayed in the club, honey. Because I was like, I got to release some stuff.
Hold on, sister.
I stayed right in front of that big behind speaker. They was like, you can hear? I was like,
no. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with you.
You can feel it. That's why you understand?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying a lot of ways we have lost it. When they did what they did with the people, they used to make them circle around a tree, I think 7 or 9 times or something like that. And they took it away from them. And then you got the generation of now. I call this the microwave generation, want it quickly. If you set them around something that looks like culture, they'll be like, what's that? I ain't into that. And it'd be like, I love music naturally. I do. Like you can put some beats on and I'm going automatically, I'm going for it. But when it came to finding out who I truly am, when I tell you searching, looking, trying to find, I didn't even know women were as divine as they are until I had the chance to explore outside of my mother's tutelage. Because she taught me how to be a lady, but she knew nothing about culture. She gave me, I don't want to say culture, but she taught me etiquette.
Yeah.
She taught me how to be a woman. But she couldn't say, this is what you came from. And this is what we did at this point. She showed me through action how to cook, how to make sure I cleaned myself and how to clean a house and things of that nature. But it wasn't based on, like, I didn't get the, you dress in all these bright colors to keep yourself in a good state. You use these oils to keep aromatherapy present and and lifting yourself. She didn't tell me that, I needed to take these herbs or drink these teas because they're going to help me heal on a whole nother level. She was just, you be a young lady and you do this. And let me tell you, it's so funny. I'm going to say this and then I promise I'm yielding. When I was a junior in high school, I went and bought a kente cloth print dress. It was a print. I think that I wore that dress at least, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but maybe at least twice a week because I loved it so much and didn't even know that I was connecting to a Khan culture and stuff like that. And it was like, I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't know, and it was just, we're not presented with those things. Like my significant other, if you try to tell him to go put on a koozie or something like, I don't want that African stuff. I'd be like, what?
Can I say something? Can I tag on that? I wrote down something you said, and then I'm going to pass it. But we're in a new age of consciousness, one. And the war right now isn't on the physical, it's on the mental and spiritual, right? The mental, when I keep on saying we've been tricked out our spot, it's because they trick you out of information. They got to make you hate the African shit right now. Because listen, the white man go to Africa, not a problem. The Arab man go to Africa, not a problem. Anybody can go to Africa and steal those traditions and use those traditions. The Spanish man will go over there and bring it back and call it Santeria. They'll call it whatever they want to call it. But when the black man, when black people start getting into African traditions and everything else, oh, wait a minute, you can't do that. Wait a minute, you just said we can practice Buddhism, we can practice Hinduism. Christianity ain't from America. We can practice Christianity, you can practice Islam, but don't practice them African spirituality. Now, I say that to say, you just said something about that cloth. Say the name of that cloth again.
Kente cloth.
Did you know that when you wear that cloth, it fucks up AI? They can't facial recognize you. When you have those patterns, it will fuck up. That's technology, and they're tricking you out your spot. They're tricking you out your spot because I deal with this every day because I deal with bloodlines. I know that if I grew up in Mississippi and my Washington side, I went to the reservation. I said, yo, I was talking to the fake ass $5 Indians, and I said, yo, what can I do to have my son on the reservation just to go against the system? He ain't getting no birth certificate. I want to have my son on the reservation. They said, no, man, we can't do it. So those $5 Indians, even though we claim that we all the same, those Mongolians didn't allow us to even have my child on the reservation. You know what about Juju? The people in New Orleans, the people that was practicing African traditions. That's why I can't never speak bad on them. Yeah, the average African might not be that intelligent. You don't think that's not by design? Just like you said, we don't understand. We sit here and talk about the spells that have been put on us. We talk about all these different magics. And we talk about sex magic, not realizing the Pope was sitting up under the black woman, making sure she don't hear none of our prayers, because you're going to pray to him first. Wait a minute. He's the one filtering it if you want to be technical about it. And the Catholic Church is over the Christian Church. Meanwhile, he's sitting under that Masonic sign with a G in the symbol, because the G represents your G spot. They can say it represents government democracy all day and forever, except for when you see the Mother Mary holding that child, the child is literally coming through that womb, that veil that she has over her, the black woman. Like, everybody know the black woman is God except for the black woman. It's funny. But they're tricking us out of spot. You said about that.
Can I tell you how they tricked us?
No.
Through the trauma.
You just said they ain't take something, so what's going on? Did they take it or they didn't take it?
Well, the thing is, no, when you said tricked, I'm like you saying they just trick, like a little trick. Oh, trick or treat. No, it was the trauma that caused the trick to work.
Yes, ma'am.
Because people keep saying, remember who you are, remember. They forgot because they was traumatized. Didn't I just like when the mother and the child seen the dad get jacked up like that?
Yeah.
You want to forget the first thing. What I say when that mess happened to me, I forgot. I buried it. So when you bury stuff, you bury who you are.
So is it safe to say that trauma is a distraction?
Trauma is the tool that they use. Why you think they got people traumatized about something that they claim coming from outer space, and traumatized about the money, traumatized about people being hungry, traumatized about people are just, they freaking out.
No, wait. Wait. That traumatized is traumatized. That don't mean just because somebody said they're traumatized. I think people are word playing and they just using words.
Well, let me tell you something.
Words up in space, huh?
You only gonna cry wolf one so many times.
Traumatized. If you want to say about,
keep speaking that stuff on. Remember, your words got power. If you keep going around talking about you traumatized and you have not been traumatized, whew.
That's why, like I say, those vice versa, the evil balances, when people play that, they take away from people that really have been the trauma. Now we don't know who needs to be healed. And now that's why some people look at, when people say trauma and all these other things, we say trauma bonding. We don't even want to acknowledge it because we'll say it's trauma bonding if we face it, because so many people do cry wolf, but then some of us ain't crying wolf, so it's a lot to that. So each one, like you said, know yourself. You got to heal thyself, know thyself. They tell you 1,000 times, nobody can save you but you. Now, once you realize that you're the superstar, once you realize that you're the God, and when I say God, I mean the overall mother, you know what I'm saying, the overmind, the matrix, whatever you want to call it. They have so many small, minute words that we call it, and that can't bother me. Those little words can't bother me no more. I know what real trauma is. You know what I'm saying? The little stuff these people been saying that traumatized them, they haven't seen the darkness. They're not from none of that, so they can stop that. Nobody can take that serious no more. Trauma is a distraction. Now, going back to what we were talking about, I'm sick. I know you had something to say here. Good.
At this point, I'll just address Divine Shalotus, who says, so a woman who has sexual energy needs to channel that energy to healing and putting it to use like self-love. I will say yes, but not just a woman. A man also has that same kind of powerful sexual energy within himself as well. So it's important to recognize that. You know how some women, they say that their yonis are laced with gold, right? Well, you have that divine masculine that has that that penis that makes the woman go wild, and that is part of your energetic imprint, is part of your power. It is definitely a testament to your healing ability, because sexual energy is absolutely everything. So when you know how to manage that within yourself, that is something that's very, very powerful. And I wanted to also address that the women were talking about the healing that has to happen in communities. My one of the services that I have, Master Vibration 13, is a service that I offer for healing, so that people could recognize not just the 7 chakras, but there's 13 energy centers that are inside and outside of your body. And part of one of the services, when somebody wants to work with me in regards to their sexual healing, it is required to do a sexual detox. That sexual detox is important for male and female, because it for you to regenerate and for you to get your system working back to where you can hear yourself, to where you can feel yourself, so that you can come back to your own self, so that you can start doing the work. So I just wanted to let it be known and speak it very loud that this work is being done. There are more communities. My community is private. I have a private community, a private ministry, and we also, in this community, we teach about the next level of what you have to learn. Because once you learn yourself and you recognize who you are, then you're ready for that conversation about financial healing and financial abundance and sovereignty and freedom. But if you don't know who you are, that's going to sound like jibber jabber to you. So we got to heal our energetic systems and recognize who we are and how powerful we are individually. So I honor the womb, the yoni. I also honor the power of the phallus, because I know one time in my life I had one of these two. I yield.
Yo, just tag team what you said. That's why I have the 3 of you on there, because all of you are master teachers in your own right. Goddess, can you tell me your esoteric name? I don't want to mispronounce.
Nffera.
Nffera.
It's like Nefertiti, but Nffera.
And we did a whole lecture on her room one time, and she did amazing. Go check out that lecture. And she tapped into that. I am saying, man, you are always running on some kind of sexual healing and different things. And Goddess Lavina, you literally wrote the book on some of these things. You see what I'm saying? And you're always teaching on the Set and Asar energy and things of that nature. So a woman who has high sexual energy needs to channel the energy and the healing. I don't even think I need to say nothing about it. You had it perfect. Self-love for sure. Also remember, everything that glitters is not gold. Many are tricked by the human eye, searching for something on the outside rather than what is on the inside of a person, knowing the character within. I say. And that goes back to also when we're talking about our culture, whose eyes are we looking through? We're looking through the eyes of our oppressor. We're listening through the eyes of our oppressor. We tasting with the tongue of it. You see what I'm saying? We want everything that they wanted because that's what they were programmed. That's how we're programmed. But back in the day, it was, for men, we had to do a whole rites of passage just to mate. You see what I'm saying? We really had to go hunt. We really had to go do different things. And we do it now in the physical. But we had to go get all these elaborate feathers. We had to catch that bird. I know that means nothing to you, the ladies, but when I was young, we had to go chase these little chickens. And I know y'all might not know how hard that is when you had to catch that chicken. You see what I'm saying? So that's just the small things you do as a child, and then you work your way up all these different things to manhood. And we've lost that. We don't even have the rites of passage and things of that nature. So, that was a powerful statement. I'm just trying to get a couple of them. I love my sexual attraction to him, though. Okay, I say.
I would like to ask the sister, what happens when that sexual attraction when it disappears? Because we can please the gonads, but
that's why it's important to have that.
Your soul is not being met,
honey. Because I'm gonna tell you what women, what you have to understand is that 20-year-old body, that 30-year-old body, and that 40-year-old body ain't gonna be there forever. That desire you have to want to throw yourself at him and that, you're not gonna always feel like that. How you doing, guys? Yeah. So, you gotta. That's why it's important to know thyself. So when you get to that place, and for him to be in agreement with you, where your life is going, that he can understand until you come to a place where you can deal and get some herbs in you and heal that whatever's going on, inside of you, to get back to a place where you can be all a little, okay, honey. But it's the deal is healing is very, very extremely important. Knowing who you are and loving and liking, not just loving yourself. You gotta like yourself. Because I remember I looked in the mirror for years and did not like myself. When I got healed and started looking in that mirror, I was like, hey, girl, and liking myself. I love seeing me. I love who I am, and the healing is a process. It's a continual process. Maturing is a continual process. Because I know somebody came at me a little wrong, and my thought to jack them up was, I was like, okay, now calm yourself down. We're not doing that. So it's this in this life. It's a continual process, but it is so rewarding. You'll feel so good about yourself. You will literally, when I say like, I'm glad I love myself, but to like, for me, it's a big deal for me because, like I said, coming up, I didn't like myself because, people was always telling me I was mean, but I had to fight since I got on the scene. I'm the youngest of 6 brothers and sisters, and home.
I noticed that too.
Safe at, huh?
I noticed that too. My mama from Philly, right? And I noticed that that's a common thing with women in that area, that all y'all like have that same energy about yourselves. Like, that's why I'm so familiar with the warrior energy, and I respect it because y'all did it, had it hard, and it goes back to there's no tree. Well, I'm not sure where you're at, but Philadelphia is all concrete, no softness. Yeah, it's weird. It's real weird up there, and then all the women have this little toughness, this weird tough shell, and if you don't understand it, you don't understand it. But that means, she said the concrete grows. I also want to welcome Rob. When you were talking about herbs, I had to bring her on the scene because she's an herbalist and she also does homeschooling and among a lot of other things. He could be with us in a second. And this one, the comment was beautiful. Don said, this one beautiful woman I was once with was molested by her father. I was so shocked and naive to how prominent this is in our society. Damn, my heart goes out to you, sisters. And that's I hope that speaks for everybody. You know what I'm saying? We be wanting to address it and everything else. We don't know how. You know what I'm saying? Especially when the black woman at this point in time, they're putting the narrative out that the black woman hates the black man. The black man hates the black woman. So damn, it's like, how do we heal? How do we shit? We knew who it was. Tell us who it is, because a woman would be like, he molested me. Well, put him out there so we can go ahead and do what we're gonna do to him.
But remember, it was always hush hush.
What?
It was always hush hush. We're
in 2025. We're in 2025. I'm not talking about 20 years ago. As of right now, put it out there so they can go ahead and be handled. There's cameras everywhere. Put it out there. Tell on them. Do what you need to do. If she was willing to tell you, she wasn't telling you from this is what happened to me. She was telling you because she loved you, want to see what you were gonna do about it.
But you know what, though, brother? That's a good statement. But a lot of women don't have that type of protection.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, the family members will be quicker to accuse her of lying than they would believe her. That's the problem.
In 2025, we know that shit is common in everything.
Brother.
What you gotta understand is how deep that goes.
I deal with trauma victims. I do. And I want to say this before I go into the point. The first aid mental health is something that everybody should get certified in. They have classes. We should start doing those certifications and looking into that. But a lot of women don't have the level of protection someone like you would offer, simply because they're around people who don't have some level of backbone to protect them. And then they quick to tell these little girls that they're lying. And then some of these women will know that these men are doing that to their daughters and will not do anything about it. That's why I'm saying this mental thing, the mental health, the cycles of trauma that we have experienced, people sometimes are scared. And some of these children, they won't say nothing and will go to school and deal with this all year around and will never say nothing. It would take a skilled adult to be able to notice when a child is being mishandled. So this, so say for example, you have some of these young people who know that they don't have anybody to protect them, and they're very nervous. This is 2025, and that should be a conversation, but it's not a conversation everybody is having, and that's why we got all these acts of debauchery with these children, because nobody is properly teaching them to say, hey, this is happening and I don't feel comfortable with this. Some of these children are dealing with this stuff quietly or used to it in a way that they won't say nothing because they feel threatened. Now, if they don't have protection with somebody who is able, that they trust, they won't mention it. And I know that personally.
And some of them think it's the norm.
Yeah.
And that's the really sad part. Some of them think it's the norm.
That's interesting that you say that, because it is the whole thing that happens to your mind when it comes to ancestral abuse or people that are close to you like that. It's on a whole nother level, because yes, I'm very familiar with people who have experienced that, and to this day are in love with the individual that did that to them, because they were taken from they was little, so they can't break that anymore. It's the truth.
I know that personally. A good friend of mine has a cousin that was having a whole sexual relationship with her father until he died. Woo. And when he passed away, she was missing him. Not just because of her father, it was her father, but because of the sexual connection that they were blood.
Yes.
I'm saying this is the type of mental illness that we are dealing with. Nobody is addressing things like that. And that is definitely trauma. That right there is definitely trauma, because it's not normal. And that's how, sometimes, like, we have family members who will do things like tap you on your breast or something like that, or hit you on your butt and think that that's okay. And it's not. It's not. Don't touch no one should touch anybody in a sacred area. I didn't allow my daughter to sit in people's laps. She didn't sit, and not that I didn't trust the person necessarily, but no, because we don't want nobody to get no ideas.
He's a man. And
He's
don't
a
just,
man.
and that's what I said. I know I got cussed out because I was telling someone related to me not to come around their stepdad like that. Dressed in the little tight fitting t-shirts and the little booty shorts. That's night clothes, but I'm like, where are your night clothes? Where's your robe? Cover up, because I understand y'all, you have you see him as your dad and he sees you as his daughter. But in the same token, at the end of the day, he's a man. So you do what you need to do to respect yourself, and if you respect yourself, he's going to continue to respect you. It's not the thought won't come. You understand? Don't give no play to it or whatever. But
this is part of what has been lost in what we were talking about before, the culture. There were in culture in communities when the young people were taught. I'm gonna speak on the women. The young women from the age of 1 through 13, they were learning about womanhood. Of course, when they're babies, at all that process, but when they get to a certain age, they start getting prepared for womanhood because their body is changing. So they're learning about themselves, and they're learning to have pride in themselves, and they're learning to, all of this information is already gathered in those minds like that. So it's a whole different effect. Now we have this expectation of people to have pride, and you're a woman and you should know better, or whatever, but you're not allowed to talk about sex to your adults, or to that's a taboo topic still in 2025. Young people are learning from each other. They're learning
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? And this effect, when it affects the mind, it's forever. And so until we're able to bring that culture back and start teaching young women and young men what it is to be human in that body, be it a male body or a female body. You know what I'm saying? We need to start bringing that back. However, here's the kicker. In order for us to bring any of all of that back, you got to focus on yourself. You got to work on yourself so that you know what is the truth, so that you could know how to discern information. Because in this era of misinformation and information everywhere, somebody that has a strong opinion could tell you anything. And if you're not grounded in who you are, you will get swept away in that information.
Yes.
So it's important to know who you are so that you do this work.
Right. And to touch on that even more, it's just like in the person who came at me when I said that to them, to the sister. I'm glad that I've come to understand some of the energy. Like, we have that segment energy where you gonna go to war, you gonna fight, you know what I mean? You gonna fight for each other, but you also come at each other, and that's not good. But now I understand where it comes from. I'm like, okay, when they're in a place where they can receive that from me, I could share that with them because it's being passed on. Because, they always say when somebody passes away and then a little baby comes, they're like, that's so-and-so. Well, they were saying that about my great niece. They was like, oh my goodness, she just like Aunt Bean. I'm so thankful I'm here. You understand? But now we see where it just carries over, because I've come to the place where I understand what the energy is, but I'm in a place where I'm slowly trying to relay it to them, so they're not, going to come at me with, they don't want to hear religious stuff or whatever. It's not religion. It's sacred science. It gives you an understanding of who you are. One of the reason why you flip, when something doesn't go your way, the reason why you snap if somebody slightly says something to you. Or I remember, because I like fashion, and people would want to come up to me and say they like something I have on, and so they're looking at me. I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at? that's that segment energy, not understanding it. And segment is not she's not just about war. She's about healing also. But I've learned that. And that's how, when I studied the pantheon of the Netaru, I'm like, I see myself in Set, Ma'at, segment, Haru, which is Hathor, so it's important for us to learn of our sacred sciences, whether you want to go through, like you said, Oshun and, the Orishas, if that's the way you want to go, but learn of who we are and what's in us, because we're made up of this energy. It's in us, and all energy that is stored, it's going to be released. But with my eye, because that's what I learned, I can balance that out. I don't have to go off because somebody, they're looking at me or might have said something I didn't like. I can just either take a breath, I can address it in a kind way, or I could not address it at all. But I don't have to go off and want to beat somebody or fight somebody or cuss somebody, just go off and cuss somebody out. I don't have to do that anymore. And I'm really grateful for that. So learning of self and learning of our sciences is definitely a good thing to do also.
You gotta share.
Hey, goddess.
Peace.
How you doing?
Good. Peace, goddesses.
Good.
You talking about? They were wanting to know, how do you spell Kente Claw? It's K E N T E. I put it in the chat.
Thank you. I just switched it over to the goddesses because this was a beautiful conversation, so I wanted to put them in. So I just had to tack in. We're gonna catch up to these questions, a couple of these questions before we get out of here, because this is amazing. But I also wanted to put them on because they do different things, and I wanted them to be a part of this conversation too, because they do different readings and things of whatnot. This is Abikiru and Goddess Ra. This is also Risha Stone. I am Seg and Goddess Lavina. And when you were talking about all these different classes and things like that, I wanted to bring so they can have good ideas, because they have their own different realms and communities as well. So everybody take a couple of the questions in the chat before we get out of here. And then y'all can finish it off. And I want y'all to go around and all talk about your businesses and business and leave yours. And then, you'll just do it like that. She's about to take a couple of questions. And then y'all just, do your thing. I'm going to let the goddesses handle it from here. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay. I just came in the room. As of right now, I'm listening more than anything. So, but all right. So far, I'm seeing this question. Do you all call your lovers or husbands daddy or zaddy? My father was a hero, king of our household. They feel like saying that is kind of perverted.
I think that it does have some level of, perversion. It does. So I had to be kind of like corrected on something like that at one point, because I thought it was cute, but there is nothing attractive about my parents. So it is not a good, no.
Well, I agree that I wouldn't call my mate daddy. Because I don't, and this is no disrespect. And when I say older gentlemen, when I see older men, I think of them as my father or my grandfather. So for someone to come at me that's of that age, I'm like, I'm feeling disrespected. I don't cuss them out or anything, but I'm just like, that's too weird. You know, you need to be kicking some knowledge to me or something instead of trying to, you know, get with me or whatever. But I can tell you, I haven't always had that thought, because I do have a short erotic story, and I'm sure somewhere in here that word is used, you know, especially for what this is about. And it's called My Dirty Little Secret. And women, it is not a romantic. It's a short, fun story. And, you know, so one day, one of the sisters read it and she was like, well, where's the romance? I'm like, that wasn't the point. When, you know, sometimes when we out there in the world, sometimes you just need to do something for yourself, because you've been sometimes played over by that person you really like, and you like, I'm tired, I'm done, and I'm just gonna go out and have myself a little good time, you know. So sometimes sex is not, like I said, because of the way we've been brought up, it's not always about I want to be in love with this person, or I want to be in a relationship. I just want to go hit it, have me some fun, and be out, you know. So now, in the place and space that I'm in, I would do that with my significant other, you know, because you can always set something up where, you know, you make it fun, you make it, you know, intriguing, you make it interesting, you know, you just let your mind work, you know. But yeah, I wouldn't want to call my significant other daddy or zaddy, you know. That's just me. If that floats your boat, I'm not no judgment here. Do your thing.
Well, I'm about to join the club with y'all and say that it is absolutely a thing. I called my significant other Papi for a very long time. It definitely had to do with the sexuality of the culture. You know, when you're a Latina and you have, you know, that's what the women called their men. That was Papi. That's what I grew up with. And so that's what followed on to me. What I learned was that, especially after we had our daughter, it was like, you know, you think about it a little bit more, because it's like now I'm teaching her how to, you know, that's Papi, right? And then it's like now in that time, I'm saying that, so I'm a little more conscious of it, or I was, you know, at that time. And so the other part of it is that you call upon that energy that you are calling your lover. And so it's no reason, no wonder why we expect them to be our daddies and to provide for us and to, and I want this. And, you know, that energy comes through, and it is not something that is, what is it? It's not meant to, it's not proper, right? Because the reality is that it's not. But the other reality is that that's what has occurred in our society on all realms. I'm sure the people in Jamaica, maybe you were calling your you know, it's the same thing in all cultures. This thing that has happened with the sexual trauma that has happened all over the planet has caused these things to be that way. So yes, guilty as charged. Call the Papi all the time. Would I that was a past relationship. In the future, would I do that in a new relationship? I can't say in this moment. In this moment, I could say that I wouldn't, but here's the other part, that when you're in that world with a significant other, where you're exploring all of the ecstasies and all of the, you know, can you do it, can you not do it? Because when you're in that space with your significant other, you are in a world of anything goes. So if that's something that's pleasing and you can, you know, make sense of it, then maybe that is something that works for you, but it has to be right for you in your mind. My mind now is different than what it was then. So I dare to say that I probably wouldn't use that. But again, uno nunca sabe. That means you never know.
Mm-hmm. And if I may add just one other thing, we turn into different people when we in the room, so it might slip out. It might, but and it's not ideal. Probably baby or something would be better because I can't imagine, So
you know what I wanted to wait a minute.
Can I just say this?
Go ahead.
It is so important for us to be authentic in where we are. So I'll give you this example. I am aware that I was calling my man Papi. That was sexy. That was cute. He liked it. I liked it. It was fun, right? I'm also aware that because of the trauma that I experienced in my own life and even my relationship or my lack of the relationship with my father affected that as well. So I am aware of that. And so now coming into this age in my life, I'm aware of all of it. I'm here now. If I want to do that, I do. As long as it's not messing with my mind, I allow myself to be whatever. Because let me tell you, I have been, and I've been okay with all of it. Because ultimately, this is my experience to have, and I have to be okay with my decisions and my choices. So it's important for you to know that you can say in front of everybody, oh, I won't do something. But if you're not being authentic with yourself, and you're still, that's what matters. Infinite intelligence connects with the vibrational frequency of what you're giving out. And if it's inauthentic, you're going to start experiencing inauthentic things to match what it is that you're giving out. And I don't want that. So if I'm going to call him Papi, son, I don't do that.
Wait. I meant to bring it out earlier, but our conversation was just flowing. But and rest in power, Baba Haru, he transitioned, but he was saying in one of his lectures that the men don't say anything about the women who call out Jesus' name during the climax.
That's interesting.
That's what I
said. I know, like growing up, I never really cared to say daddy. Because even as a child, I'd be like, Dad, When I was younger, I used to say daddy. But then when I got older, I would just call him my dad. Then with my man, I noticed how certain men like to be called daddy. I don't like to say daddy because I have a dad too. So it's just like, I'm not going to say daddy. But I settled for zaddy. I don't know why, Z-D-D-Y. I settled for that. And everything's kind of been overly sexualized. They rape everything. They rape the trees. They rape the people. They rape... everything's getting raped right now, and it's weird, but it's what's happening. But maturity, I found that maturity and knowing when and when not to use those things or those words and those phrases is what matters, and now that I'm older now and I'm more mature in private, yes, that's zaddy. For me personally, it's not for everybody, but I have fun with it. Just like you were explaining, I am saying, like, it's I have fun with it. It's whatever, when you want to role play and do different little things, okay, we can role play. You're going to see it.
We're not mad at you, goddess.
Yeah,
it makes you happy.
You're not. You're using your...
Look, we are talking about hedonism. If it gives you the pleasure that you like,
exactly.
Live your life, because I'm telling you, it's yours to live, and nobody can judge you for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. To each his own.
That's it.
So that's what we pursue. And then I've also noticed when I give readings, when it comes to your book, Miss Lavina, I've one woman, she came to me, a couple women, they come to me and they genuinely want love readings. I've personally never really been a big love reading type of person because I'm focused on prosperity, abundance, bringing in things that help bring up my value as a woman, as a family, as an individual, as, I'm really focused on how do I make my landlord lower my rent. I'm trying to do some stuff like that,
Exactly.
How do I let me a house? And she genuinely wanted to know how should she move to some Caribbean country to live with this man that she met online. And I'm like, honey, I can't be the one to tell you that. I'm going to tell you what the cards say. And honestly, what the card said was a resounding no.
Exactly.
Some people need to hear that. You need to yourself. And I remember this experience, and it just be like, everything's not about love all the time. And I know that's what y'all be looking for, but love's gonna come when you least expect it. And you just gonna ride that wave.
Because it just happens. It just flows. And you be like, oh my goodness. I love this.
I didn't get y'all the results that y'all want.
Yeah, and not only that, I think that was one of the first things, like, when I was in my teenage years, that my sisters and my mom said, you don't ever move to go away to a state where this man is going with his family and you're there by yourself. No, we don't do that.
You know, that's interesting that you said that, because that is common sense. A lot of people don't have it. I'm not talking about the sister in particular or anything, but you know, I wanted to also say to you, sis, a lot of people are curious about love readings and things of that nature, because a lot of people are having a hard time finding love because of hedonism. They just seeking pleasure and not the connection that the sister was talking about here. The different things that, you know, requirements when you're interacting with someone else. So, you know, a lot of people are in a state of confusion due to the fact that they don't know what love is anymore. And any level of guidance is resolved for them, because they don't have no tutelage on how to properly love or receive it. So, like, you know, some people can be in abusive relationships and don't realize certain things that they're experiencing is abuse, and it's not love. But the whole thing with moving out of town and going somewhere else to find love, the sister should have, you know, if she was going to do something like that, it would have been best to relocate for her own purpose and reason, and make sure she didn't let anybody know she was by herself on no account, because you don't want to go somewhere and then somebody thinks that you are by yourself and it could possibly turn into something else. Because one of the things that I have realized also is that we deal with a lot of sex trafficking, human trafficking, and different things of that nature. So women have to be super, extremely careful when they're on those dating sites and stuff like that, meeting people from out of town or even locally, because some of these people have some proclivities that you would never want to even know anything about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we had one guy that's wanting to know what y'all thoughts were on poly.
If it works for you.
That's it.
If it works for you, if it works for everybody in the house and everybody's getting along and it's a system that flows freely, if it works for you, absolutely. But if it does not work for you and you have a hard time getting along with other women and you trying to learn this man that you're in a relationship with, you may want to reconsider.
And not only that, I think things of that nature was done, you know, in ancient times for protection and for purpose. Like, you didn't just go in it to be just on this, I'm going to be with this man. No, you had to help with everything. And not only that, what are you bringing to the table? Because when you go into something like that, for me, this is my thought. If I'm going to go into something like that, it has to be very beneficial for me. It has to line up with my purpose. And we have to be expanding as we're doing this. It can't just be, I'm coming and I'm going to lay up in your bed. I'm going to wait till Wednesday night if that's my night. And no, we're not doing that.
No.
And you got to be, I would have to, you know, you would have to be connected with these other women, these other sisters, to find out where their heads are and things of that nature. Because some women, they'll say they're for it, but they're not. And they can cause divisions or cause chaos, you know, in the midst of all of that. So you want to learn the ins and outs about all of that, because some people's ideal of that, they might run it different from a couples over here. It's working out. It's great for them. They are living the life. But these people over here, because they're not in agreement with each other, whatever the case may be, it might not work. So just I would say do your research and make sure that you're a person who can handle that. Because that's not, I don't like sharing.
I think that is very important to definitely do your research. I think that if it is for you, it is for you. It is a very powerful union, and I think that it deserves the respect and the energy that is required for a union like that to be successful. So I recommend that all parties have a resource that they can connect with, people that they can, well, not people, that they could select maybe somebody in their community that they can relate to and connect with, that could be of assistance to the community that they're building. I think that's important because there's a lot of, it's already intense enough when you're dealing with two people. So now you're with three or more. If we're talking about polyamory, it doesn't just mean 3 or 4. It could mean many. In kingdoms, there were kings that had like 100 wives, you know, and everyone had their position and they knew what they had to do. And the other part of it is that in these communities, it is not about the sex. Sexual energy is happening all the time. You're exuding sexual energy when you are feeding that baby from your breast or even from the bottle, to say that, you know what I'm saying? But everything that happens in a woman's, this is what we are, sexual beings. This sexual creative energy is part of who we are and part of how we offer for our healing. So, and there's some women that they want to be penetrated at all, but they want to do other things. They want to dance. They want to, cook. They want to do all of these different things. So everyone can serve a position or a place. It depends on what your skills, what your powers are. And we just have to get back to the knowledge of what these things are and not the glorification, because we've seen some brothers on some videos saying that they got, some women that's doing, all of the pleasing. You feel me? So I think with the proper, mind and intention, anything is possible.
There you go.
You have any thoughts on it? I feel like there is a such thing as toxic poly, and then there's non-toxic poly. You got healthy poly and you got unhealthy poly. It is you as an individual who needs to learn how to use discernment and figure your way out into it. Because some of these men are poly because they don't want to be with just one woman. And some men are poly because they genuinely wanted more than one woman and they want to see it work. And some people are poly and they kind of turn each other against each other while you're all living in the same house. It can get weird. I'm not going to lie. It can get weird. But I have learned that whether you are monogamous or whether you are poly, you love each other through what you go through. It's all a matter of, it's really love. If you can see yourself, it was a Bob Marley quote. It's not coming to me right now, but it's a Bob Marley quote. And it's pretty much saying it isn't about the hurt and the pains. It's who you can go through these hurt and pains with and still come out on top together. No matter what hurt and pain we go through, we went through it together. We still ain't going nowhere because we still here together. And whether that's with one person, 2 people, 3 people, 5, a community, that's what it matters. Can you still go through what you go through in life with that same person by your side? And that's the best way I've seen that poly can work itself out. It's not even family. Blood don't connect us anymore. It does, but it doesn't. You kind of got to find your tribe right now, because we got a whole lot of black sheeps in the family, because family is rejecting those black sheeps or have rejected them, and those black sheeps are still coming out on top. So I don't view blood as a connection per se anymore. I just vibe with who I tribe with. That's where I vibrate to, whatever tribe I'm supposed to be with. And I still love my family, those who can understand my vibration that I'm on and still want to be a part of me and with me. We can rock together. And then those who can't, then we just can't. It's just that's just where the frequency of where I'm at with it. Because I've tried to be open with other family members about things that I'm doing, and it just doesn't work out that way. They understand things from their perspective, and I understand things from my perspective and multiple perspectives, because I study different things, different religions. I try different things, and I'm not afraid or ashamed to say I did it, because I'm sure someone's done worse. Somebody's out there doing worse. And
that just you have a broader audience to talk to help, and things of that nature. So you don't have to explain or apologize for anything, because you're on a different path and a different mission. You've been sent here to accomplish reaching those people that myself or Goddess T over here or said can't, we won't be able to reach, but you'll be able to reach them because you understand what they're going through, on a deeper level than we would. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody has their own turn,
I wanted to add to what you're saying, Goddess. I was going to say, let me tell you something, beautiful sunshine. Family members don't understand all the time. I remember when I stopped eating pork, they was like, "What, you Muslim or something?" And I was like, "What? Why do I have to be Muslim to not want to eat pork anymore?" But what happens is, when you stand strong in your own beautiful skin, people eventually will learn how to respect you. And you have to be you unapologetically. I'm me unapologetically. But I will say this. I don't interact with people who I think the interaction would be harmful. If I think that they will insult me, or if they will bring me to insult them. And that goes with family members also. We are learning at a whole nother level, a different speed, being the type of people that we are, because we are open for growth. And when you are open for growing, then people will always have a problem if they're stagnant. So if you go out and explore, you at least have the opportunity to say, I tried that, I like it, or I didn't. But you got some people who will say, well, why you try that? You shouldn't have. It don't make no sense. And they don't have an idea what it's about. That's why I learned how to be neutral with everything, because we don't know the fiber of one in particular person's being. So if you say, say, for example, if you like shrimp and I like perch fish, but I don't like shrimp and you don't like perch fish, it's not a problem. We learn how to find our balance with being okay with one another about liking what we like, because that's just this is your journey. And people are always trying to judge the journey that we individually are on. And you just have to be like, you know what? Peace and love, peace and love, and peace and love. And just let those people be, because they're not open for growth. And, it's you like it or you don't. And we can't please everybody. We have to make sure we're living our lives to the highest of our abilities and performing and loving on ourselves on a level that we ain't never really been taught to love ourselves, so we can change the world. Because you change the world when you change the inside of you. When you open up your perspective, people around you perspectives open up. The more you evolve, you give others the opportunity to evolve without directly even doing it. You just become the example. So,
yeah. But if you're interested in poly, don't be scared. Go for it. If you see somebody that you like, or somebody's, shoot the shot.
Well, I don't have patience, sister. I look, me personally, I'll be looking at him like, I'm trying to have patience with you, brother, but it's interesting. But I'm saying, that's why I was saying, if it works, do it. I have seen some successful poly relationships.
Yeah.
Everybody get along. Everybody take care of the children in the house. Everybody got a specific day that they need to do certain things. And I have also seen them awful. where the man was abusing the women that were in the house. And you turn around and you look up, he's not only abusing them, he's having an affair outside the house with another woman that he won't even tell them women about. And so it's like, it's kind of
that's the mess.
That's toxic. Right.
Mess. And that goes back to knowing who the person is and being in agreement and being, it's got to line up with your purpose in life. Mm-hmm. It can just be, because that's a mess. To cheat on the home you have and tell them,
Yeah. Being in agreement, and everybody being in one accord. That's the key right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people. What you about to say? I was gonna say I can agree with what you said and what the lady said. Really gotta be comfortable with yourself, though. Because if you're not, then you're just gonna be all over the place. So,
Yeah, that's something.
And that's also like with Shango energy. A lot of men confuse Shango, and they think that he's a womanizer. He likes a lot of women, but Shango come with the wisdom, and the women that Shango love die for Shango. They go hard in the paint for Shango. It ain't just Shango out here dipping in and out of everything. That's when you take the Shango energy and you abuse it. But when you take that Shango energy and you know how to use it, women will respect you as a man. Like, women will not bow down. I don't believe in bowing down, because real strength, real gods and goddesses tell you to stand up. They don't need you to bow down because they stand tall in their power. So, but a real woman, she gonna look up at you and be like, okay, I guess I think that might work, And if they don't, then y'all can respectfully disagree and come to an agreement. That's where I was really, in my opinion, that's a real men you don't need a woman to bow down and all these other crazy things going on. If a woman is secure in who she is, she'll listen. Period.
I mean, and my thing is, at the end of the day, we're brothers and sisters, and I don't say that in a gross way, but we come from the same mother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And when you have the mindset, this is my brother first, you're not going to just go off on him, when things go out of whack or there's a little misunderstanding. You're going to take your time and go to him and want to work things out, want to have a conversation so we can resolve this. I think that we need to see ourselves as that first. We're brothers and sisters, and not on some yucky, level. But it just brings more peace, even with your children. My son, he's my brother. He's my little brother. So I don't have a need to want to, I'm going to teach you this and you're going to do what I say. And I give him room to express himself, because I might be coming at him in a way that I shouldn't, not understanding, what is really going on. But if I give him the place to be able to express himself respectfully, I don't have all that confusion and chaos, so, but I believe we're going to get there, because it's time. We're in the I don't want to say a season. This is greater than a season. This is our destiny. This is the life we are to live, independent from those who would attempt to continue to oppress us. That is done. And it's time for the love of self, love of one another, and that greatness. When you have it, can you imagine we all get on that mindset? The world has changed. Right in this instant, even in here, we all are agreeing on what we're speaking here tonight. And this is going out into the atmosphere, and this is what is manifesting, literally, right now. Because what the word does, it goes out of our mouths, it slows down, and it takes shape and forms. So there is healing coming forth. There is self-knowledge coming forth. People are going to come into themselves. And another thing I want to speak is, do not just believe any and everything that is out there, because you will drive yourself crazy. Seek divine mother, father, nature for wisdom. She will speak to you. She will lead you. She will guide you into all truth. Ask for balance, because I remember when I was going to church, they said all things work together for our good. That's because all the Netaru is in us. And it's Ma'at that keeps the Netaru working together for our good. Keeping nature the way it's supposed to be. No matter what they do, the sun is going to rise. The moon is going to set. The water is only going to go so far and retract, because it's already been spoken. It's already been set in place for billions and billions of years before we got here, and then billions and billions of years after we got here. So, and love, that's one of the self-love, and like I said, connecting and loving one another is extremely important. And when you love yourself, you can love others, period. No excuses. And love those who want to be loved. And don't love those who eventually they'll come along, but definitely love on those who want to be loved. Respect those, and they'll respect you back. If they can't handle the love and the respect, they will walk away from you. No one, when you come in with truth and peace and love and reciprocity and balance and harmony, those who are not about that will not stay around you. They will run off somewhere. You can talk about, how come they don't want to talk to me? It's what you bringing, baby. They're not ready. They're just not in a place that they can receive it. But it's all good. Every time you see them, just, hey, keep it moving. Eventually, they'll be,
Yeah, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. So, goddesses, y'all want to give a shout out to y'all businesses?
A taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you, honey, with poetry for body, mind, and spirit. Deepest Thoughts by Lavina. Expressions by Lavina. Emotional, I was really emotional by Lavina. In my dirty little secret, the fun book. It's a night of fun, a day of fun. It's a fun book, a fun read. And I wrote it the way I was telling it to some of the sisters. I had a salon and they was getting their hair done, and they was like, you gonna write that? I was like, yes, I am.
And where can they get these books from?
You can actually all of them, you can get on Amazon or from a Taste of Lavina Poetic Empress.shop. I also sell t-shirts with uplifting expressions on them. Always choose to love yourself more. Mm-hmm. Set the world on fire just by being you, because authenticity is important. Don't try to be anyone else. You need not have to, because you are great right by yourself. Honey, you are fierce. You are awesome. You're all of that.
Okay.
And emotional I was really going through with that one. But they're all in their books of poetry. So you'll find the very first poem I wrote. I didn't even know I could write poetry or anything. This guy hurt my feelings in 2015. And I said, I'm going to cuss him out. And I wrote this poem. And when I finished, I was like, this is not a cuss out. Here's the very beginning of it. I am the sun to your rise, the in to your out, the up to your down, the yes to your no, the black to your white, the beat to your heart, the search to your look, the quench to your desire and the mate to your soul. But yeah, you'll eventually hear the end of that one. But yeah, I was like, what about? I don't know how to do that. But Divine, and I was scared. Divine said, put a hat on, those hats you like to wear, and get on out there. So
Shame.
yeah, I'm really grateful. Yeah. But Lavina, Poetic Empress.shop, or you could get the books on Amazon.com.
I just wanted to say, y'all, I'm going to have to wrap it up because I'm out here in the mountains and this signal keep going in and out. But what I want to add is I am Trisha T, or Sister Nffera, from thepyramidroom.com. I do and emphasize urban meditation for people who don't know how to meditate, have been through different levels of trauma or healing on some level. I help the distracted person who doesn't know how to meditate get into it. So the one thing that we know is that we got all these different learning styles. I find a learning style that fits the individual to assist them on their journey for self-healing and peace. And the mission is real, because when I tell you, working with people, I'm certified in first aid mental health for youth and adults. I also work with different levels of, I'm also certified in rational emotive behavior training, meaning I just, I'm really learning how, to interact with so many different peoples on different levels. That's why I don't deal with a lot of judgment, because everybody is on their own individual journey, and that's one thing that I'm open to and understanding. And if I can help somebody on any level find their peace, that's the mission for me. So I specialize in urban communities, in Black and Brown community, because that's where the most trauma is showing up without resource. So thepyramidroom.com, I got some more things coming in the future. If I talk about it now, it may not even come forth like I wanted to, but just look forward to it, because I'm telling you, it definitely will be worth it, because I want to help us evolve and ascend on any level that we can, and for everyone to get to their journey the safest way that they possibly can, through the healing that they need. So I am the person who helps to facilitate the journey, the beginning journey of learning how to go within and work on yourself. A lot of people say, I don't know how to meditate. I had one brother, and I'll mention this and be done, but I had one brother, I did a meditation. I'm from Chicago, and I did the meditation at the library. The brother came in, he said, "Sister, I didn't try meditation. It don't work for me." And I said, "You haven't had my meditation yet." So he sat down. The brother, he was an elder too. He sat down, and I had a visual going for them. And then they had my voice and the breathing and stuff like that. And, what I love to do with people who are not meditators is talk to them after they've had the meditation, and they tell me how they feel. And quite a few people have said, "Oh my God, I had to help somebody describe it in a way that was, it wasn't judgment or anything, but I was telling, oh, so you feel euphoric." She was like, "Oh my God, it's just a whole different level of meditation." And then the brother ended up saying, "Sister, I never had an experience like that. That was totally different." And see, what I want people to know more than anything is that if you sit down and you designate at least 1 minute to sit and breathe, it can be through an instrumental song. You can get some aromatherapy, dot them hands, and kind of take yourself into a different state quickly, because that's how we learning how to heal. My mission is to help people find themselves, and I have had a lot of up and down with it, on this journey. A lot of, I'm not into that, and it's okay. Whatever way I can help you, let's do it. So I am Trisha T, or Sister Nffera, at thepyramidroom.com. My handle at Instagram is The Pyramid Room, all one word. You'll find my information there, or either I'm on Facebook as The Pyramid Room. So yeah, urban meditation is my specialty.
She said all it takes is 60 minutes, 60 seconds, y'all.
Just 60 seconds. That's it.
Peace, goddess.
Hache. All right. I am SCG 13 and I specialize in sexual energy creations like this. This is Chi Prana. I teach people about scalar energy and I teach them about healing themselves through learning their chakra systems. You can connect with me at 818-233-5776. That's 818-233-5776. Master Vibration 13. I am SEG 13 on all platforms. And I want to thank all of you ladies for your services and everything that you do for this planet.